Divisional District Inspector Russell Falcon Price. BA in Criminology, Diploma in Police Studies, ducks of every course on offer.
Bit of a change from Faulkner.
Which is why we're having this little chat. Your next assessment will be going to him for approval.
Oh, he's all right.
You think so, do you?
He's actually quite good looking and very young.
McKinley? He's what's known as a fast tracker. He's on his way to the top and he won't let anyone stand in his way, especially cheeky trainee constables.
And country sergeants?
The point is, this shindig this weekend is his initiative and he'll want it to be a big success so he can impress the big brass.
So,
for once in your life, play it by the book. Do your job, speak when you're spoken to, and please stay out of trouble.
I always do, boss.
I want this operation to be a success. When you know me better, you'll know I don't like excuses or apologies. We're here to get the runs on the board and to make sure that this district is doing its bit to reduce the horrific road toll. Now, it's a long weekend, which means that every idiot and his dog is going to be on the roads. Add to that the start of the ski season, the annual grape grazing festival, the races, charity footy match and any number of great Aussie barbies. We have the opportunity of getting our best RBT figures ever. Speaking of which, we are not here to win any popularity contests. We pull over 4 cars at a time, regardless of who's in them or how many times we've already breathalyzed them that day, understood? Basically, it's going to be a hectic 3 days. Sergeant?
We set up the bus initially on the Widgery Road, beside the rest area just south of the highway turnoff. The forward car will be on the approach side and should maintain radio contact with the site supervisor and safety officer at all times. Just remember, this is our community and a little civility costs nothing and doesn't waste any time. Now down to details. There you go.
Thank you.
Peace and quiet.
Been here long, Tom?
23 years. Yeah, not all as sergeant.
23 years, long time.
Yeah.
So tell me about your team. I noticed you've got Hasham and CI.
That's right.
Had Promise once.
So I'm told.
And your senior constable is?
Nick Schultz. Big bloke. Solid as a rock. Totally dependable. Used to be in traffic and has a sort of a one-man crusade against drink driving.
Emotional type, is he?
Certainly not.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Paxton.
Doesn't let anyone get away with anything.
No, you can't. You told me you never drink.
Well, complete teetotaler. Always have been.
Eh? Well, that's not what this says.
Oh, but it couldn't. I haven't had... Am I going to lose my licence?
No, you just relax a bit there. It's just registered a very low reading here. You sure you didn't have just the one?
Only orange juice. The others had champagne.
Really?
My son's getting married tomorrow, you see. His new in-laws invited me to lunch.
So you've been out to lunch here?
Oh, but I didn't. The trifle.
Oh, the old sherry and the trifle, hey? Can get you every time.
Oh, dear, what happens now?
Well, I'll tell you what, Mrs. Paxton. If you promise me not to trifle with the trifle again, we'll overlook it.
Oh, thank you, Constable. Thank you very much. I'm very grateful.
All right. Have a good wedding.
And your constables? Who's the blonde?
Maggie. Maggie Doyle. She comes from a police family. Pat, Mick.
Those Doyles. Any good?
She's an extremely efficient and conscientious member.
Bit of a favourite, eh?
I don't have favourites.
G'day, g'day.
Hello? Mr. Timms, isn't it? How are you today?
I'm in a bloody hurry, actually, to cover the start of the footy, and it kicks off in about 15 minutes' time.
Okay, well, this won't take long,
I'm
sir.
going to go to the bloody races and cover the bloody CWA picnic. I tell you what, between you and me, sometimes I think that my editor thinks I'm Superman or something.
You've already covered the wine festival, I take it.
I have indeed, Maggie. It was very good this year. It was excellent.
Good.
Excellent. Listen, I've
right.
really got to get going, you know.
Well, if you just take a big deep breath for me and you blow into this until I say stop, that'd be fantastic.
Come on. Can't delay the start of the football, you know.
I'm sure that they'll start it without you. And take a big deep breath for me and blow.
All right.
Thank you. Sir, in my opinion, the result of the preliminary breath test indicates that your blood contains alcohol. I now require you to accompany me to the bus
What?
for a breath
You're
test.
kidding me?
You prepared to accompany me, sir?
What? What was the reading?
I can't tell you that. Now, if you hop out of the vehicle for me, Adam...
Maggie, come on, give us a break, will you? Come
I'm
on.
sorry, sir.
This is a big day. If I don't cover the stories, I get the sack.
Well, hey, we've got a job to do too. I'd really appreciate your cooperation, sir. Thank you.
Bloody hell.
Lovely.
And this Cooper, what about him?
Well, Cooper and McKinley are both still very young. much younger than we were at that age.
Hopeless.
No, not at all. Cooper in particular has learned a great deal in the 2 years he's been here. But when they're young like that, well, you can't expect them to have the authority that goes with experience.
Do you understand it's an offence to refuse a preliminary breath test?
Don't quote the book at me. We're talking about a principle here. In a democratic society, I'm supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. This whole rigmarole assumes my guilt.
I'll ask you again to blow into this device.
And I'll tell you again, I don't drink. My word should be enough.
Right, OK, sir. Turn off the ignition. Step out of the vehicle, please. Accompany me to the bus. Andy?
And what happens there? Bit of gentle arm twisting.
Come on.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand that.
Okay, Mr. Timms, you have a blood alcohol concentration of 0.160%, which means that you'll be given an instant summons and required to appear before a magistrate in 2 weeks' time. Your licence is suspended immediately, sir.
Oh, no. Come on, don't do this to me, please. I need my car for work. I have to have the car for work. How am I supposed to work without a
Your
car?
licence, please, sir. Thank you.
I have to caution you again, if you don't consent to the PBT, you'll be charged.
Why make life difficult for yourself, sir? If you haven't been drinking, take the test and you can be on your way.
Conform, eh? Never question. That's the easy way out.
Easy.
Powerful people make the rules, boys, and sometimes they get it wrong. And we have a moral obligation to tell them so.
And I respect your views, sir, but I don't think those powerful people are wrong in this situation. Now, can I please have your name and address?
No. I know my rights. I don't have to tell you anything.
Sir, as the driver of a motor vehicle, you are required to give your name and address.
Well, I'm not going to.
OK. You are now under arrest for failure to give your name and address. You can come with me to the Mount Thomas Police Station.
No, I'm afraid you're going to have to leave that
I'm
here,
not going to leave it.
sir.
I'm not going to leave it
We'll
here.
make sure that it's all safe and sound until you can... You've been settling the girls.
Yeah, some of them. Guys are geese.
Why?
Well, the boss is going to love having that lunatic Carmichael dumped in his lap with Falcon Price looking over him, isn't he?
I suppose so. It's more customers. Stop settling the girls. Hey, Outback's a Mustang!
Yes, all right. Just remember what you're here for, though. You can chat them up in your own time.
Well, all right, well, when I get back into town, I want a proper blood test.
That can be arranged. You do understand that you will incur the cost for that?
I don't care about the cost. Look, I want to sort this out, okay?
All right.
I
Is
just
there
want
anything you want out of your vehicle before we
Yes,
knock it up?
there are a few things
Okay,
I want.
Peter. Thank you. You can move on, sir.
Got me already?
Travis, where's your bike?
I left it at my brother's place.
Well, like the car,
I'll take you for a drive sometime.
if you insist.
You really are working. Can I see you when you get off?
Yeah, oh, what about 8 o'clock?
Hey, I'll be there.
Mm-hmm. I'll see you then.
Bye.
Boy or girl, you reckon?
Excuse
Don't know
me.
yet.
Mr. Timms.
Right, so a question for you.
Yeah?
Do all your mates get special treatment, do they?
I'm sorry?
Well, I just observed one of your officers out there right now. She's waved in a car. She's recognised the driver. Oh, here's a mate. Oh, right, so off he goes. She changed her
I'm
mind. He
sure
just
there's
drives
an
off.
explanation, Mr. Timms.
Yeah, and you know what that thing's called? I think it's called blatant favouritism. That's what it's called.
Now, how about you sit down,
Why
Mr.
don't you
Timms,
take
and
a
we'll
seat,
explain.
Mr.
You sit
Take
down.
a seat.
Let me
Hey,
explain
do you mind?
something to you, Mr. Timms. All the vehicles are selected in sequence, so I'm sure the constable had a very good reason for doing what she did.
yeah.
Now,
I know.
but
You know what the
mind your
reason
own
is? I
business.
reckon she's got the hots for him.
We know you're upset with your circumstances, Mr. Timms, but I think you make the situation a lot easier.
Hey, okay, all right. If I'm wrong about this, I will wear it on the chin, provided all things are equal. Like, when I see things like that bloke you brought in before, that bloke you didn't like his politics, well,
No,
I'm
that's not
sorry.
true, Mr.
No,
Timms.
and this now here in the street, I'm seeing one of your officers giving preferential treatment to a boyfriend, was it? I don't know. I'm going to start making noises. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
How about you make some noises down at the station with us?
We'll go there right there, right
Thomas.
now. I'll tell you what, this is a front page story.
Can't miss it. Straight out past the old bakery.
I'm sure I'll find it, Tom.
Harry, how are you? Cooper, what's the problem?
This gentleman refused a PBT and wouldn't give his
It's
name
the
and address.
principle of the thing, Tom.
Thank you very much. Why aren't you up a gum tree saving an old growth forest somewhere?
Something I should know about, Sergeant.
You had anything to drink today, madam?
Just some wine with lunch, a couple of glasses.
Why? Is she over the limit?
No, this time she's lucky. I noticed you pulled over further up the road. Seemed to be some activity in the car.
Oh, well, we were, how can I put this? We were feeling romantic.
Is that right?
Yes.
You got a problem, hey?
I don't think so. Melissa's under the limit. I don't see why we just can't drive on.
You're right.
Well, actually, I think there is a problem. You see, from here it looked like you were swapping places, that you, sir, were originally the driver and you were the passenger.
Well, I think you need your eyes tested, Constable.
Can I see your licence, please, and yours too, sir?
Sure.
Is this your car?
No, it's Rod's.
Is that you, is it, sir?
No, it's not actually. Rod's my brother. I'm Peter Walker. He lent us this car because mine's out of action.
Your name and date of birth?
Melissa Jane Philpott, 4th of the 7th, 66.
You're from East Melbourne?
Yeah, I'm staying at the Imperial for the weekend.
Right.
I don't seem to have mine on me, but I don't really need it, do I?
Well, it's still my belief, sir, that you were in fact the driver of the vehicle, so I'd like you to do a preliminary breath test.
Bloody great.
And I'll need your full name and address.
Fine, whatever you say, officer.
Breathe into here, please, sir. This test indicates that you have an excessive amount of alcohol in your blood, sir.
That's why she's driving.
Can I have a word with you in the van, please, Constable McKinney?
What do you want?
Do you know what you're doing?
Nick, the guy is lying.
Are you sure of that, are you?
Has the boss asked you to keep an eye on me or something? Am I the walking disaster area around here?
No, look, we're just trying to impress the new boss. So how impressed is Falcon Price going to be if this bloke goes and runs to him and starts complaining?
He can't complain, he's drunk. I'm sure he was driving.
You sure of it, are you?
Well, there was some glare on the windscreen, but from where I looked, she was climbing over the top of him. She might have been to change places
I know,
with him.
so it might have been now. Where were they?
The entrance of Miller's Farm.
That's 100 metres away. So there's glare on the windscreen, 100 metres away, and you're sure you know what they were doing.
Nick, the guy's lying, I know that.
Well, good on you, Dash. Your call, but if it was me, I'd give him a stern warning, let him go.
So this time I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. But I must warn you, it is an offence to drive under the influence. Next time you find you've had a few, arrange alternative transport.
Oh, we can go now.
You can go.
Sorry, boss.
It's done now. You better get back out there. I'll take over Harry eventually.
Hey?
He's in there giving Inspector Falcon Price a very interesting lecture on the freedom of the individual.
Right, boss, I'll see you back at the end of shift.
Boss, I'm sorry.
Not another one.
Mr. Timms would like a blood
Mr.
test.
Timms would like to speak to Sergeant Croydon about the improper conduct of one of his officers.
She's really grubby at the moment. I mean, she can't keep them clean. We're camping down at Scrubby Creek, you see. And that's why I'm here, because Vic, he's my husband. Well, he and a couple of his mates polished off all the beer by lunchtime, didn't they? So I volunteered to come down to town and get a few more supplies. Not that they're heavy drinkers, mind you. It's just, well, there was a bit of a mix-up with who was supposed to bring what. You know, it's just... Oh, hello, Senior Constable.
Hello, Mrs. Tominello. That's 2 N's, 1 M, 2 L's as in hello.
Oh, you remembered. Oh, I'm
You're not
flattered.
easy to forget, Mrs. Tominello.
Yeah, I think Mrs. Tominello was about to explain to me why the car smells like a brewery.
Well, we were on our way back from the pub. Bradley suddenly has to go, and I'm saying to him, well, can't you wait? He's going, no. So I pull over and throw him into some bushes, and the next thing I hear this terrible screaming coming from the car. I rush back, and there's beer everywhere. Brianna's shaken up a can and sprayed it all over Lizzie. Yes.
You've been breath tested, Mrs. Tominello?
Now, Senior Constable, do you think I would drink and drive with my own children in the car?
Passed with flying colours, Sonia. Now go easy, you lot, okay? Don't give your mum a hard time, all right?
Oh, good luck with your baby.
Oh, thanks very much.
All right, bye-bye. Say goodbye to the nice policeman. Bye-bye.
Bye. You're going to be a dad?
Yeah, for the second time. Due 2 weeks tomorrow.
Yeah, she has to have a word, doesn't she?
Oh, dearie me.
You could be reading this all wrong, Mr. Timms. Even if the policewoman and the driver were acquainted, it doesn't mean she showed him any favouritism. And we can't stop every car that goes past.
What? No, of course you can't. No, so what do? You just pick out the makes and way through your mates, don't you? I mean, look, you know, come on, Sergeant, credit me with some intelligence, will you? Obviously this sort of thing goes on.
No, it doesn't, Mr. Timms. In fact, a police person found guilty of such practices would face a caution or possibly suspension. We have total faith in the system and believe it's properly controlled.
Oh, well, yes, OK, sure. But you have to say that, don't you? Look, all right, I'm assuming that some of your members, most of your members probably, you know, obey the strict guidelines, but always going to be someone who won't, right?
You feeling all right, Mr. Timms?
Oh, fine. And the blood test will prove that.
We'll see.
Just need to use your toilet.
We'll investigate your claims, Mr. Timms, and if there's a case to answer, we'll deal with it.
Oh, yeah, right. And then you'll bury it.
I assure you, Mr. Timms, it is not in our interest to do that.
Can you?
Mr. Timms,
yes?
I would like your assurance that I'm not going to open a newspaper and find that you've done a job on us before we've had a chance to speak to the junior member and review the situation.
Of course you can, because, you know, I play fair, right? But I'm just letting you know, right, that I am going to follow this thing through. All the bloody way.
All the way out through the back door there, Mr. Timms.
This is not looking good, Sergeant.
As I said, I'm sure there is some explanation.
There better be. What can you tell us about this incident, Constable Doyle?
Well, not much, sir. I was in the bus at the time.
You share a house with Constable McKinley.
Yes, that's right, sir, I do.
Are you familiar with her circle of friends?
Some of them, yes.
Do any of them drive a Ford Mustang?
No, not that I'm aware of. Sir, with respect, I wouldn't rely on Mr. Timms's judgment. He wasn't exactly sober at the time.
He may have a grudge, but the fact is he witnessed the exchange between McKinley and this male person. He even had the presence of mind to take down the registration number.
All right, Doyle, get McKinley to come back into the station. We'll see what she's got to say about him.
Whether he's right or wrong about the circumstances, the fact is that as a member of the press he's in a position to damage our credibility, and that kind of adverse publicity could seriously undermine our campaign.
Look, I know Timms. He's lashing out because he's frightened he's going to lose his licence. When he sobers up, he'll remember that he needs our cooperation even to do his job.
That's the way it works in the country, is it? Well, let me tell you something, Sergeant. In my district, we do things by the book, without fear or favour, and without any cosy little deals between mates. You bushy-tails think you can make your own rules. Well, not anymore. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Peter, you see McKinley?
Yeah, just up the side.
Deirdre, what have you done?
What?
Falcon Price wants to see you now, if not sooner.
Why?
I don't know, made that bloke in the Merc complain about his treatment anyway.
How could he? I was just doing my job.
Well, that's what they said at Nuremberg.
Where?
Never mind. It's probably nothing very serious, don't worry about it.
I understand this is a very serious allegation.
Yes, but I didn't wave him through, sir.
You're saying Mr. Timms is lying.
No, I did wave him through, but not like that.
Like what?
I didn't wave him through because I knew him.
Did you know him?
Well, yes and no. I mean, once I realised who he was, I did.
Run that by me again.
Well, I didn't recognise him at first. I didn't know what kind of a car he drove. I only met him last night and then he was riding a motorcycle.
I see, so you don't know him very well at all.
No, he's the brother of a friend of mine.
Did you know his name?
Travis Healy.
Where were you and Mr. Healy last night?
We were out of friends. Some of us hadn't seen each other for a while, so we had a reunion.
A party?
Well, no, it didn't start out as a party, but more people.
Was there any
kept
alcohol
turning up.
present?
People brought drinks along, yes.
Did you have any?
No, I'm not a drinker.
What about Mr. Healy?
He drank low-alcohol beer.
You took particular notice.
Yeah, well, that's why I wasn't worried when he gave me a ride home. I mean, because I wouldn't have accepted the lift if he was over the limit.
So when he drove towards you this afternoon, you had no idea who he was?
No, none at all. I was just thinking, what a great car.
You were interested maybe in meeting the driver?
Well, it was a nice car.
So why did you wave it through?
I was going to indicate for him to enter the site, but then I changed my mind, not because I recognised him, that came up later, but because of something that I saw further up the road.
What was it?
Well, a car had pulled over and it looked like the passenger and the driver were actually changing places.
Though they climbed over each other.
Yeah, so I waved Travis on to make room for that car, but then he stopped anyway because he recognised me.
He actually stopped at the site?
Oh, yeah, on the edge of the road.
Then you should have tested him.
But then the other car would have got away.
So you tested the other car. Were they over the limit?
Well, she wasn't. She was driving by then, but I tested him as well, and he was way over on the PBT.
Take him to the bus?
No.
Why not, McKinley?
Because I couldn't be certain that I'd actually seen them change places.
Not backing down.
So District Inspector Falcon Price has informed me.
Impatient sort of bloke, isn't he?
Very highly qualified. Listen, you don't really want to be charged with this, do you?
Personal liberty is always worth fighting for, Tom.
Spare me the lecture, Harry. I've been listening to it ever since the school debating team.
Yeah, well, you know I don't drink. Now, why should I be treated like a potential drunk?
Because somebody has to stop drink drivers. Anyway, it's the law.
Oh, the law.
And don't tell me it's an ass. Look, are you sure you want to lose your licence for 2 years, plus a court appearance and a fine? Because that's what you'll get for refusing a PBT and failing to give your name and address.
Freedom of choice, mate, includes the right to protest.
Come on, Doyle, you can do the honours. Where the hell's Tim's? Has he fallen in or something?
I hope so. Just this one here. So, Mr. Carmichael, how are you going to get around the countryside without a vehicle?
Don't you start.
Well, you've been told you can be fined up to $1,200, haven't you?
The price of freedom, mate. You know, there's something very wrong when I can be selected at random and forced to prove my innocence. And don't give me the carnage on the roads and the drink driving statistics.
How about you go
They're
and
not
finish
the
your
point.
coffee over there where I can get some more information on the charge sheets?
Oh, you clumsy!
I'm sorry.
all
I'm
right?
sorry, mate.
Oh,
Mr.
get off
Tim.
me, you drunken lout!
This way, Mr. Tim. Just go home.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, isn't it lucky that he wasn't in a vehicle travelling at 100 kilometres an hour? Thank you. You're clear, Mr. Carmichael.
As I said.
Your fingerprints.
Thank you. And thank Sergeant Croydon, would you?
Mr.
But you can-
Carmichael, please remember that the sergeant has been incredibly lenient. You have been very lucky this time. However, in the future, if you're picked up, don't expect the same treatment. How'd you go? You know when you try and explain something and it all just comes out wrong.
She didn't get her foot out of her mouth for the whole interview. She's thrown him into damage control mode. He's been on the blower to Tim's editor for the last 20 minutes trying to do a public relations job.
Boss, I didn't do anything wrong.
If you want to put a lid on this once and for all, you're going to have to find somebody who'll verify your story.
Well, what about Travis? He might have seen the car. No, Falcon Price wouldn't believe him. He'd just think Travis was backing me up.
Mr. Healy has no idea about any of this, does he?
No, how could he?
Then he'll give you a completely unbiased account. He could be your best witness.
We met at a mate's place and later on I offered a lift home.
What were you driving?
I wasn't driving. I was riding my bike.
Did you mention you also drove a Ford Mustang?
Oh, we talked about a lot of things. In fact, from the moment we met, we just clicked. And you know how it is when the chemistry's right.
Did you know she was a police officer?
Sure. It came up when I asked her this barbecue today. She said she was on duty, and when I saw the booze bus, I wondered, well, maybe that's what she meant.
So you were surprised to see her?
Yeah.
And she didn't know it was you?
I'd like to think she did. The car two ahead of me did a screaming U-turn and took off back up the highway. There was one other car in front of me. They waved it in, and I was next.
Did you notice if there was another car behind you?
No, I was watching the action. Then I slowed down. When I came closer, the female police officer, who I then realised was Dash, suddenly indicated for me to keep moving. She made out she didn't recognise me. I mean, you know, like some girls do.
Did Constable McKinley seem preoccupied?
How do you mean?
Was she looking at anything else?
It didn't seem that way from where I was sitting.
There's no way I could have recognised you. I didn't know you drove a car. I let you through because of something I saw further up the road.
Dash, you were talking to me the whole time.
That doesn't mean I wasn't aware of what was going on around me.
I told it as I saw it.
How you saw it is going to land me into more trouble.
I didn't ask you to bend the rules.
Travis, you've got a very healthy ego.
Look at us. We hardly even know each other and we're arguing already.
Thanks, Mr. Healy.
Rightio, we're going to have to move the site because we've been out a few in the last hour.
Oh, well, the word's out. Locals have found a detour.
Oh, yeah. There we go. That's a good spot, that'll do. We'll move when McKinley and Doyle come back.
Well, Falcon Price will give her a hard time if he thinks she let her love life interfere with the job.
I met my wife on the job.
Yeah, he's going to become a daddy too, young Cooper here.
First one?
Well, that'll admit to.
What, which trimester?
Hey?
Sorry, how many weeks?
12.
Oh, what, don't tell me. Morning sickness, mood swings, Japanese
Yeah, all
bladder.
that.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Once she gets into the next trimester, you fall in love all over
No,
again.
don't get me wrong, you know. I'm looking forward to the baby coming. It's just a bit weird. It's hard to believe.
Look, there's nothing like it. When you put your hand on her tummy and you feel the baby kick for the first time, it's pretty special.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
You got a lot of joy ahead of you, mate. Now, come on.
How'd you go? You still got a job?
No thanks to you. Don't put the testing in, McKinley. Next time you've got some good advice, give it to someone else.
Sounds like a bit of bad luck.
Oh, Nick, just lay off for a while.
Excuse me, you suppose no Walker was going to be cheeky enough to complain?
No, he didn't. Our local Clark Kent reported seeing her way through her latest boyfriend.
Well, that wasn't very bright, was it?
Well, she says that she was just making room for Walker, who she saw changing places up the road. But we've got no one to corroborate it. You didn't see anything, did you?
No, I heard about it, didn't see it though. We tested Michelle Tominella not long after that, and she was going on about having to stop for Bradley up the road, so you can have a chat to her about it.
Oh, yes, I stopped for Bradley. I left the girls in the car, but they were whining, you know, wanting to come too, but it's such a hassle to get them all out, you see, and I was only going to be a minute. So I grabbed Bradley, because he was busting, you know, and I took him into the bushes, and then suddenly I had to rush back and leave him to it because of all the screaming and the beer everywhere. And
Mrs. Tominella, did another car drive past?
Oh, not then. But I think before when we first pulled up.
Can you remember what colour it was?
I think it was white.
Did you notice who was driving it?
No.
And it stopped further down the road?
I saw it from the bushes. Looked like there were two people wrestling in the front seat. Then Mum called me.
Bradley, hurry up! Can you remember what the driver looked like?
Nope, they were just moving all around.
Kind of like they were changing places?
Yeah, that's what they were doing.
Well, I suppose Bradley could talk to Falcon Price and tell him what he saw. Oh, Maggie, he wasn't even sure that they were changing places, not till I mentioned it.
Mount Thomas 470 to Mount Thomas 308.
Mount Thomas 308.
Your location, please.
We're about 10k north of you.
Report of a single vehicle accident on Witchery Road. You're the closest.
We're on our way. Is an ambulance attending?
None at this stage, but the vehicle involved is a Mustang. Advise of ambulance required.
Are you hurt?
Still in one piece. Can't say the same for the car.
What happened?
Oh, I swerved to avoid this rue and overcorrected and lost control of the gravel.
All right, Mr. Healy, it's standard procedure in these situations for us to conduct a preliminary breath test. Constable McKinley will conduct that test while I inspect your vehicle.
We're not having much luck, are we?
What have you had to drink today?
I've just finished a can of light beer at the barbie, and that's all.
Come with me to the forward drive, please. There is a reading. I'd like to do a second test on the breathalyzer back at the bus.
Aren't you going overboard?
Well, you've already admitted to drinking at the barbecue.
One beer? Are you pushing this to score a few points with your bosses, or is this your way of getting back at me for dropping you in?
I've copped a lot of flack today. I'm not going to leave myself open for anything else.
Fine. Okay. Just so long as I know where we stand. Let's get this over with.
It's a 0 reading. The PBT obviously just picked up the mouth alcohol.
Yeah. Thank you. How are you feeling?
Like I want to be somewhere else. Can I go, what?
Yeah, that's yours.
It could have been fun.
You right, Dash?
No, I'm not all right.
Some days you just can't win. Did I tell you about the day Sophie was born? It's a week before my rec leave, and I'm out on a job that takes me down to Evanley, and we're out in the Mulga somewhere, and little Sophie decides to come on early and fast. Well, Fee thought it was indigestion at first, then the old girl next door was driving her in, and the baby's practically born on the hospital steps. So by the time they've called me, it's all over bar the shouting, and I've missed the whole thing. I'll tell you what, though, I'm going to make damn sure I
Murray, what
miss
are you
it this
doing?
time.
You've got to pack up.
Sorry, Nick. Come on, Cooper.
Bradley Tominello initially described it as two people wrestling in the front seat, which is exactly what it would have looked like if they were changing places.
I was present when Constable McKinley questioned the people in the white Mercedes. She put the allegations directly to them, and I don't think she would have done so unless she had reasonable grounds for suspicion.
Unfortunately, reasonable grounds isn't conclusive evidence.
Then we need to go straight to the couple concerned. What's known?
The man in the vehicle gave his name as Peter Walker. He's from Avonlea. The car's registered to a Rod Walker. It's his brother, also an Avonlea address. I did a licence check on both men. Came up with 205 priors on Rod Walker. The woman's name was Melissa Philpott. She's from East Melbourne.
I heard her say that she was staying at the Imperial Hotel.
Not even
close.
We're trying to get 320s.
I thought you were going away for the weekend.
Getting out tomorrow, mate.
Jeez.
Well, aren't you wondering why we're here?
No, don't want to know. I've switched off.
Playing darts with your mates. Couldn't you think of anything better to do?
No.
Heard you caught a few today.
Yep. I want to speak to one of your guests, Melissa Philpott. She in?
Roommate.
And she's in, do you know?
Yeah, she came in a while ago, but I think she's got company. She ordered champagne and 2 glasses.
Rod, can you get that? I'm not dressed.
So you're actually Mr. Rod Walker, the owner of the vehicle?
Yes, that's right. Look, I had this on me all along. I don't know what possessed me to try and lie my way out of it.
It wouldn't have anything to do with the fact that you already have exceed PCA convictions against you, would it?
Oh, no, it wouldn't. It's probably got more to do with the fact that I had a guilty conscience.
We wanted to keep the affair discreet, which is why we came up here. There's no way I'd want to hurt Rod's wife.
Oh, you know her?
Yeah, I've met her several times up at the school.
The policewoman who stopped you today is still convinced she saw you swap positions in the car.
I was definitely driving. Rod was, well, he was primed. He'd had more to drink than me, which you already know. Well, he started to... Well, things started to hot up, and it was hard to concentrate.
So that's when you pulled over?
Surely you don't want me to go into the details.
Come on, guys, I couldn't help it. I mean, we'd never had a whole weekend together.
Did you see the bus up ahead?
Who's looking for buses when you've got this gorgeous creature sitting next to you?
And you left.
No. She was on my right. I was in the passenger seat and she was... Look, can we just stop this?
We did our best, Dash.
Yeah, they admitted to everything except changing places.
No, we just couldn't budge them. Now everyone thinks that I made it up just to cover the fact I was supposedly looking after Travis. I don't think anyone would believe that, Dash.
The Falcon Price doesn't. Here's to authorise my latest assessment, Maggie. I'm stuffed.
His registration numbers better be right.
Sir, I can guarantee them.
And why are some of the female drivers circled, Senior Constable?
Oh, you know. It's just, some of the boys, the officers, they just like to remark on the polite drivers.
The 300 tested, only 2, excluding the journalist, exceed the limit.
That's right, sir.
Not much of a result, is it?
Well, it depends how you look at it, sir. It means our presence out there deterred drivers from drinking and using their vehicles whilst under the influence.
Well, the drunks found out the location of the bus and gave it a wide berth. We'll need to review the sites for tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Word of advice before you all head off. Most of you are staying in the district tonight, so remember, it's not advisable to get too familiar with the locals. You might have to charge some of them tomorrow, and you don't want to give anyone an excuse to criticise. Have a good night.
Night, sir. Where's he staying?
He's not. He's driving back.
Oh, it's not good enough for him.
No,
well, Ted Faulkner always used to...
I wonder if that was said for my benefit. Oh, probably. But how are we supposed to cut ourselves off completely? We live here.
Exactly. It's even harder for me because I am a local.
Yeah, and I married one.
Which puts you out of circulation.
I have to have a social life.
Come on, there'll be other guys like Travis Dash.
It's not much comfort, Adam.
Can't be that cut up. Come on, you only just met the guy.
Well, I am.
Touchy? What did I say?
Too much.
My editor's eagerly waiting the outcome of your investigation. How's it coming along?
We're not in full possession of all the facts yet. As soon as we are, I'll let you know.
All right. Because I heard that green Mustang, Brad Pitt, went off the road this afternoon. Now, what do you think caused that to happen?
Well, we understand he swerved to avoid an animal.
An animal? So is that his version of the story or her version of the story?
Have you got a point to make, Mr. Timms?
Well, I don't know. You got to ask yourself, don't you? I mean, when he was waved through that RBT this morning, what state do you think he was in?
He was breathalyzed after the accident.
650, thanks.
As a result of that test, he was released without being
second thoughts,
charged.
make it a bottle, would you, and charge it to the
Lucky boy.
Lucky in what sense?
Lucky in the sense of it's not what you know, it's who you know. So when he had this test after the accident, who did the test? That little brunette? Huh?
He was tested by a properly qualified breath analysis operator.
Thanks.
Look, some of our members may be very inexperienced, but I can assure you none of them is corrupt.
Good.
How are you getting home tonight, Mr. Timms?
Shanks's pony.
Good. I won't keep you.
That's not funny.
You want another lolly, Murray?
No, I better not, mate. My little Sophie won't sleep until I take her in properly.
Hey, but Stacey's coming down. I thought you wanted to meet her.
Oh, look, another night, mate. We'll get the wives together and they can swap baby stories, eh?
Can't wait. Don't knock it till you've tried it, Patrick.
Let's hope we get a few more convictions tomorrow, eh? Falcon Price hates the way
Don't want to know, all right?
Melissa!
Bit of trouble over there.
Catch you, mate.
See you in the morning.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Paxton.
Oh dear, here we go again.
After the wedding, are you? It's a very lovely hat you've got on your head there.
Oh, thank you.
Any other routine?
I wish Falcon Price would leave. I can feel his eyes boring into the back of my head. Oh, just ignore him. I bet he doesn't stay long. Good afternoon, sir. If you wouldn't mind taking a big deep breath and blowing into this for me.
You caught any drunks yet?
Not yet. Okay, thank you.
Don't do me any favours.
Favours, there's a bit of a dirty word around here at the minute. All right, sir, thank you very much for your time. You may pass through.
Thank you very much.
Mrs. Tominelli. Mr. Tominelli, how are you both?
Oh, exhausted. Oh, I'm taking the kids home. I've been up nearly all night with Lizzie, you know, and I mean, if one of them gets something, you can bet it's only a matter of time before they all do, and I don't want to be stuck out in the middle of nowhere with 3 sick kids.
No, look, that's right. Mrs. Tominelli, could you please blow into that for us?
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
Murray, your wife's gone into labour, mate.
Oh, she can't be.
She has. You've got to hurry up.
Sir?
Better get over there. Got two myself. Wouldn't have missed the burst for anything.
Good luck, mate.
Hope it all goes well.
Thank you.
Well, look, that's fine, but if you're tired, take it easy driving, won't you?
I'll be right.
Oh, Mrs. Tominelli, he's not going to be driving at all, is he? No.
Now say goodbye to the nice police lady, everyone. Bye.
Graham?
Yeah, he's gone.
What about the other bloke?
That's Walker, Rod Walker. He's...
Got it? I'll get on the AIS. Man, Thomas, see you later, VKC.
Go ahead now, Thomas 308.
VKC, yeah, I'll get that into you.
Should have tested him. Shouldn't have let him go.
Well, Chris shouldn't have sold him the bottle of whiskey and his girlfriend shouldn't have dumped him and he shouldn't have driven home to his wife under the influence.
Yeah, but if we'd taken his licence away, Nick, then...
He was the sort of bloke who would have driven without one.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Murray Graham's wife gave birth to a baby boy half an hour ago. Inspector Falcon Price is on his way over to break the news about the accident now.
We'll need to get in touch with Walker's wife too. Doyle, follow that up with Bevan Lee, will you?
What about Walker's girlfriend? Who's going to tell her?
I felt bad lying to you. But I put it out of my mind. Till the interview. Somehow it seemed much more serious when we were brought in here. That's when I should have said something. I was trying to protect Rod. If I'd been honest yesterday, he might still be alive.
Well, I was right.
I'll make sure Inspector Falcon Price knows, but don't expect an apology.
No, I'll know better than that. Just as long as he endorses my assessment.
You do realise you'll still have to be cautioned.
Why?
You waved on a driver without testing him after he'd pulled into an RBT site.
But I didn't ask him to pull into the RBT site. And what was I supposed to do with the other car? Let it go by?
You should have tested both.
No, but
McKinley, just take a word of advice. Accept the caution with good grace. The inspector is not a man you want to make an enemy of, all right?
Yes, boss. Adam? Are you all right?
Never even got to see his son, Dad.